I'm Alp Sarper, reporting for Economy Middle East, and today's very special guest is the Maserati Grecale. If you're wondering what we're up to at Economy Middle East, why not subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Instagram, our LinkedIn, and follow us online on our website, and why not pick up our magazine as well? Well, this is the Maserati Grecale. You get three iterations. It starts with the GT, then you have the Modena, which I have next to me, and you have the mighty Trofeo, and next year, we'll have a fully electric model called Folgore. The GT has a 296 brake horsepower engine, the Modena a 325 brake horsepower, and the mighty Trofeo a 523 brake horsepower. The first two are 4 cylinders, and the Trofeo comes in a 6-cylinder. They all have 8-speed automatic gearboxes. Now we're gonna have a detailed look inside the car, outside the car. We're gonna take it for a drive as well. But it is widely expected that the Grecale will do extremely well, as these kind of mid-size SUV crossovers have done so well for many of competitor brands. Of course, well, I'd like to thank Altair Motors for lending us the Maserati Grecale. Well, in here, it's a very, very pleasant cabin indeed. I mean, I especially like the way the whole cockpit sits right in front of us. Really rather nice steering wheel with the Trident emblem right in the middle. And then you have your respective controls on the left and right. So you've got your phone and so on this side, and you've got your cruise control and assisted driving and so on and so forth on the right side. And then you've got your drive modes in a little dial over here, kind of like the Nettuno that you get in a Ferrari, but this is the Maserati version. Right in the middle, you've got your sporty suspension on and off. When you press that, a little thing comes on, the emblem again comes on the cluster gauge right in front. Cluster gauge is completely, must be about 12 inches or so. It's completely digital. The kilometer gauge maxes out at 270 kilometers, which is rather good. And sort of, you know, this part of the car, very, very nice. You've got, of course, electric seats, no heating and cooling in this particular model that I have. I have, of course, the Modena. However, I'm sure that is an option. Moving over to the middle, over here, if you can look through this camera here, really nice. They've done this sort of reminiscent of the Audi center console, you know, when they have the 2 bits of screen. So the top screen is your infotainment and all your kind of apps and so on. Pretty good, you know, your favorites, recent, got your categories over here, got media, navigation, phone, vehicle, and that's pretty good. You got the oil pressure, the torque, the turbo. That's pretty cool. That's actually quite nice to have right in front of you. That's about it. So that's very nice. Then you got the gear shifter is right over here. So you got all your gears here. See, neutral, park, drive, manual. You got the flappy pedals here, should you want a little bit more excitement. This Nettuno, I'm going to call it from now on, you can actually control your drive modes from here. So you got comfort, sport, and GT. With the sport, of course, the car gets a little bit tensed up and excited. All this is really nice. 2 cubby holes, a wireless charger here, a little pocket in here. This all kind of looks really nice and premium. You've got for the first time, actually, of course, this is the new design language of the Maserati range, and we can expect to see this, you know, filtering through to the to Levante and so on and so forth. You've got a digital clock here, and something quite cool happens actually when you put that in there to charge. That will change. Well, it did a moment ago. It hasn't changed now. But anyway, you've got a digital clock right there. Your AC controls over here. Just generally very nice cabin. The doors are opened with this little device here, and you've got a manual device here to close it as well. Really nice, really premium, a complete sunroof, moonroof, whatever you want to call it over here. Up here, you can control all the lights, open the boot from here, and of course all the controls for the top. All in all, a really nice cabin to be in, really, really nice. And this light leather makes it feel even more premium and nice. I love it. Visibility is great all around, top notch. Well, actually looking into the screen in more detail, you do get quite a lot of interesting little things here. So when you go to the home screen and then you choose this car icon, it says My Car. Now there's an overview of the car. It tells you how many kilometers you've gone and how many days and how your tire is and how your oil level is. Then you can have a look at your tire pressure. Great. See, I see 35, 36, 38, 36. So already I can see that there's a little bit of inequality over there. Then you have your oil pressure. Then you have your drive mode explorer, where you have, so the sport mode here, how responsive it is, how stiff it is, acceleration, electronic control efficiency, that is pretty cool. Then you have your GT mode. Now it shows another chart, and that also has a different kind of, they've plotted the chart within this circle. And then you've got your comfort mode. That is very interesting. Then you have your e-hybrid mode here. That's when you're going, it'll show you where the power is generating from, how much the battery is contributing to it, from what I understand. Then you have your performance with your turbo PSI, your torque, and your oil pressure. We'll show you that when we do the 0 to 100. Then you have, well, there we go. Oh yes, there we go. So you have your technical gauges. That's that. You have your consumption history, where it goes, it's again, how much are you consuming? Then you have torque management. This is very, very interesting. So on all tires, on all wheels, it has a percentage, and it'll show you once you put your foot down, how much of that torque is going to each of the tires. That is actually mighty interesting. Then you got your drag race, so you can actually have all sorts of figures here. The list goes on. Accessory gauges. Now you have your oil temperature, your transmission temperature, and your 12-volt battery, how it is performing. Mine is performing at 13.6. That is it. But that is very, very interesting. Then you have your controls here. Then you have your settings. I would say the performance option here is definitely the most interesting, with all your different things that you can look at. Another thing in this clever AC unit over here that you can see is, so what you do is you have your you're driving, you don't want to get distracted. Often this is one of my biggest complaints in cars, that they make it too fidgety and too digital. When you don't have analog controls, it can get terribly distracting when you want to change the AC controls. However, Maserati have gone and done something rather clever. So what you do is, if you slide your hand left or right, you see, you can adjust the speed of the AC. If you do it up and down, you can adjust the temperature. And if I'm doing it on the left side of the screen, I'm doing my one. If I'm doing on the right side of the screen, the passenger is doing his or hers. And if you do it right in the middle, let's try it. No, it doesn't sync. I wonder if I synced it. Yep, now it's synced. If I sync it, yep, indeed. If I sync it, it will adjust the entire temperature of the car. That's rather clever. Now, the 326 horsepower Grecale Modena that I'm in is supposed to get to 100 in 5.3 seconds. And the top speed of 240 kilometers an hour. Now, it doesn't have launch control. However, I'm gonna put it into sport mode, and then I'm gonna launch it myself. Here we go. 100. Well, that's quite a nice takeoff. But now I'm gonna try it from complete standstill one more time. So I shan't be pressing the brake now. No, the other takeoff was better, the way I did it. 100. There we go. Rather nice. So the way I did it was I pretended I had launch control. I had left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, went for it. That was a much nicer takeoff. It's not a mind-blowing, mesmerizing takeoff, but it is a good takeoff. There's a good bit of torque there. As a matter of fact, right here in this rather nice, new, massive screen in the middle, when you go into performance, you get these three little dials that has your turbo, PSI, your torque, and your oil pressure all showing. And when you do the takeoff, or even for any matter, it shows you once you foot pedal to the metal, it'll show you how fast you're going. Oh, well, a different kind of info that it shows over here. Now, when it comes to performance, the Grecale goes up against the BMW X3, the Porsche Macan, and of course the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, which it shares the platform with. But if you ask me, the performance is quite alright. Well, for example, the Grecale also has an assisted driving. What that means is it's a very clever cruise control. It'll keep you from a safe distance, and it'll actually keep you within the lane. So all you have to do is really turn on the cruise control, set it to a certain, there we go, set it to a certain speed, put on assisted driving, and what you can do is can get your hands away and it will just drive you within the lanes. However, if you take your hands off, you see it kind of keeps you in, but then it'll give you a little warning saying please keep your hands on, because if you don't, it will switch off. Now, ultimately, when it comes down to it, this is an amazing piece of machinery. It's very premium on the inside. It's rather nice, sporty. As far as the handling goes, it's a very comfortable drive. So all in all, it is a wonderful car. And I'm sure it'll do wonders for the sales of Maserati, because many similar brands have seen that introducing a mid-size luxury SUV, crossover, whatever you want to call these, has really increased their sales and at those cars. So the competitors to this particular Grecale, for example, the X3, the Stelvio, and the Porsche Macan have sold very, very well indeed. I guess ultimately what it comes down to is how much the person who decides to buy this likes the exterior, likes the interior, and likes the performance of it, because as far as the price goes, they're all pretty similar.